Koe, Mr. Twyford.
I ngā mana whenua o Tamaki, nau mai haere mai ki te whare parimata e takatū nei. E ngā rangatira puri noa i te whare, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa. Mr. Speaker, I want to greet the 13 iwi and hapu who are here today, to congratulate you and the Minister, the negotiators and the officials, and the Māori Affairs Committee, even the Honourable Tau Henare, for all the work that has got this bill to this final stage. As an Aucklander and as Labour's Auckland Issues spokesperson, I'm very happy to be able to take a call in this debate. Labour welcomes and celebrates this important milestone in our city's post-colonial history. Notwithstanding the progress of individual iwi claims, this bill, dealing with 15 of the volcanic cones and 4 islands in the Gulf and the lands in between, recognises the collective and shared interests of the iwi. Now, Tamaki Makaurau, as our country's biggest city, faces some big challenges as we debate almost every day in this House. We have to catch up on an infrastructure deficit that has left us with a public transport system in desperate need of upgrading. We haven't been building enough houses, and the shortage has driven house prices beyond the reach of ordinary people. The city's economy is not producing enough jobs, nor enough good, well-paid jobs for our young population. But I suggest, Mr. Speaker, that laying the foundations of an inclusive, democratic society based on a shared sense of fairness and a collective stake in our future prospects is just as important, if not more important, than the more bricks and mortar tasks of improving our built environment, fixing infrastructure and growing the economy. And settling the treaty claims of Tamaki Makaurau is the starting point for building that inclusive democratic society. Now, for me personally, the story of Ngāti Whātua o Ōrākei, from colonisation through to the post-settlement era, has been one of the defining stories of Auckland. As a young man who watched, amazed, as the government of the day sent the troops in to remove Ngāti Whātua and their allies from Bastion Point in 1978, it was an honour to be in the chamber 35 years later for the passage of the Ngāti Whātua o Ōrākei settlement bill. Knowing that history and understanding the experience of tangata whenua over a couple of centuries is essential to knowing and understanding the city we live in, the places that we move through each day, the people we live alongside. And a commitment to settling the historic claims is, for me, a must-do if we are to move forward together with Māori fully engaged in the life and the economy of our city. So it is about justice and addressing past wrongs, but equally important, this process is about ensuring that Māori are at the table, exercising leadership, whether it's in the governance institutions, the boardrooms, the media, as advocates, environmentalists, and in any and every walk of life. The transition from grievance to treaty claim to settlement and post-settlement might seem like a long process to some people. But the journey of the Tamaki Collective, I think, actually shows how rapidly the shift has occurred from claim to settlement to post-settlement. And the Collective's role as an investor and developer in the Weymouth housing project is a symbol of that, and great to see. Thinking about the future of Auckland, I believe that one of the biggest challenges we face is how to unleash the talents and the energy of our young people and our increasingly youthful and brown population. It's too often they who are not getting the best out of the education system, too often trapped in the lowest paid jobs, unable to own their own homes and struggling to break through and feeling on the outer. Successful leadership of our city over the next generation will tap into our young, brown, mega-diverse Polynesian city and build an economy and an identity that sees this and the extraordinary creativity and energy that it brings as an asset and not as a liability. And for me, settling the historic claims is an important building block for that vision. And I see Mayor Len Brown in the gallery with Councillor Penny Webster, and I want to acknowledge the Mayor's commitment to that agenda. Secondly, this bill vests 14 of the region's maunga in the iwi collective to be managed under a co-governance regime. And 4 of the motu, Rangitoto, Motutapu, Motuihi and Tiritiri Mātangi, will also be part of a vesting arrangement that recognises iwi and hapu's special association with them. The maunga and the motu, they are taonga for all our people. They are an inseparable part of what Auckland means, of who and what we are as a city. And this morning on Radio New Zealand, Ngāti Blair put it beautifully when he said, they represent the places where our people lived, where they loved, where they were buried, where they cried, and where they fought. This amazing field of volcanoes are a daily part of life in Auckland. And at any given moment when you look up, your gaze will just as likely fall on one of the maunga. They're how we navigate our way around the city streets. They're where we go to show off our city to visitors or to walk and reflect on the day ahead or the day past. And recognising the human settlement of the maunga over centuries before European colonisation is a wonderful way to acknowledge their importance to us. And it's completely appropriate that their history should be reflected in co-governance and shared responsibility for the well-being of the maunga. As many have pointed out during the passage of this bill, the maunga have not been as well looked after as they should be. And it's my hope that this new co-responsibility will lead to a greater overall commitment to protecting and enhancing the maunga, making it easier for the public and visitors to enjoy and understand them, and engaging the local community in that work. I also hope that the work will continue seeking UNESCO World Heritage status for the maunga. So, Mr. Speaker, to conclude, the passage of this bill is something to celebrate. And as a fellow Aucklander, I salute the hapu and iwi of the Tamaki collective and congratulate you on this achievement. It is always a great pleasure to be a participant in the legislative process of treaty settlements. I know that they are no picnic for those who are doing the work on them, but at this final stage of the process, the settlements are something we as New Zealanders can be truly proud of. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I call the Honourable Member Basata Sam Lotuainga. Talo Falava.
Tēnā koe, Mr. Speaker. Tamaki Makaurau.